Well, friends, welcome. Pro-life leader Frank Pavone here, bringing you my daily diary segment. Today, I want to talk about what I did from Wednesday the 21st through Sunday the 25th of January of 2026. So these were the days of the March for Life in Washington and the Walk for Life in San Francisco, both of which I participated in and led events for. Let me walk you through each hour of each day. So on Wednesday morning, the 21st, I started out with a drive over to Merritt Island, where our executive director is and where we were going to be picked up for the drive to the airport. Drove there very early, and then had a 6:15 a.m. radio interview, which I did there from Merritt Island. And then we were picked up for the airport, driven by a volunteer to Orlando, and worked there as we were getting ready to board, and also on the plane discussing various work items, not just related to the days in which we were about to embark, but also in regard to a lot of future plans. It was a good flight. We got there to the hotel in DC, and then continued with various work in the afternoon, communicating with our staff, and also doing some calendar planning for events later on during the year, as we finalized last-minute preparations for the events of these days. Had dinner there at the hotel and concluded the day. Then, the morning of, I also on my computer and in various emails dealt with some of the following topics. Of course, the prayer service, the Planned Parenthood protest for the next day, some work for a foundation on whose board I sit, some work in regard to discussions and debates of pro-life leaders on social media, approval of a press release arranging for media interviews, the working with my staff to create a special page that would be honoring my 50 years of pro-life activism, which was going to be the next day's anniversary, approval of an email blast, upcoming dates for seminars that we'd be doing, travel plans, work in regard to the Religious Liberty Commission, and also the America 250 celebration. The next day, Thursday the 22nd, very big day, anniversary of Roe v. Wade, my 50th anniversary of being involved in the pro-life movement. Had some early work at my desk, just getting the day ready. Let's see, I had just a few emails having to do with media, judicial nominations, and also communication with the leadership of the March for Life, which was about to take place the next day. And then breakfast there at the hotel, and then connected with my staff. We got into an Uber and we went over to the nearby Planned Parenthood in Washington, D.C., and began leading our national protest there, which kicked off at 9 a.m. We had various people gathered there from different parts of the country. We had a sound system there. We gave speeches, led prayers, interceded for the moms going into the abortion mill and the babies they were carrying, welcomed various pro-life leaders who also shared remarks, including Janet, our executive director, and some ladies from Silent No More. When we finished there at Planned Parenthood, we took an Uber over to our Washington, D.C. office, right behind the Supreme Court. We had lots of flowers there in red, white, and blue, and we got ready for our memorial service in front of the Supreme Court. We took those flowers there. We had, again, various pro-life leaders, a sound system set up, and we had a time of prayer, song, reflection, and memorializing the babies and also the moms killed by abortion. Janet read the names of some of these victims and various other messages given by various pro-life leaders there by the Supreme Court. That was an event that kicked off at noon and went for about an hour, after which I went back across the street to our office, had a couple of my staff with me, and we got an Uber to go over to The hotel where the March for Life had its gathering place. And we had various pro-life leaders there in the lobby of that hotel that greeted me, and we interacted with them and networked where there was a conference going on there, saw a lot of activists and other leaders. So we networked there for a couple of hours, as I always like to do. This was at the Westin Hotel. And then from there, when it came towards mid-afternoon, we got into an Uber again, and we went over to the Basilica Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, the largest Catholic church in the United States, right there in Washington. And they were people gathering there for the Mass for Life. So for a couple of hours, again, I was networking with people and welcoming them as they showed up for that Mass. Many great conversations with many people that know us and follow us and support us from all around the country. Encountered, for example, Father Leo Padalinghug, who did a quick interview with me there in the entranceway to the Basilica, and all sorts of other friends as well. Once that Mass got underway, then we had to go back to the hotel where we were staying to meet up with, no, I didn't go back to the hotel, went to Just the News. So John Solomon and Amanda Head, you may be familiar with their broadcast, Just the News. They had me on as a guest live for that national broadcast. So we went to the studios there, did the interview, and then we went to the hotel to reconnect with the rest of our staff and our executive director and our videographer who had come down from New Jersey that day. And we had a good dinner together and getting geared up towards the next day, the day of the March for Life. And then after that dinner, we went over a few technical matters in regard to the cameras that we would be using to film things over the next couple of days. The next morning, on January 23rd, up early, finished preparing my thoughts for different talks I would be giving over the next few days, and got ready, did a couple of quick emails to some religious leaders and media, and then connected with my staff there in the lobby, and we got into an Uber to go to Constitution Hall where we have our prayer service. Got there, connected with various people as they were arriving, got things set up for the prayer service, made sure everything was ready, and then led the National Prayer Service. We gave the posthumous award, Leadership Pro-Life Award, to in honor of Charlie Kirk, and had a beautiful service. Took some photos afterwards, connected and networked with people in the lobby. And then at the conclusion of that, took an Uber over to the site where the March for Life was convening, right at the place where the march started. I was there on the street and networking and interacting with various other leaders, members of Congress, media, and friends, activists from all around the country. A couple of hours there, networking with people. Then we started marching. We marched up to the Supreme Court. Once we got to the Supreme Court, what I had to do, I connected with Janet right there in front of the court. We had the Silent No More gathering already set up. I gave introductory remarks, exhortations, and prayers. Silent No More rally got started. People were lined up to give their testimonies. Then Janet and I had to connect with our Uber. And that took a little while to do because so many of the streets were closed. But we did get there into the airport on time to catch a flight, San Francisco. That night we flew to San Francisco because the next day was the Walk for Life West Coast. So we got to San Francisco, settled in, and then the next morning we were ready to go over to, first of all, Planned Parenthood. So I got up, did a couple of emails having to do with interviews coming up, broadcast planning, and some technical matters. But I went over to Planned Parenthood, Father Dennis Wild as well. We had some breakfast first. And we prayed in front of the killing center there with the survivors, a group called Survivors. And from there, went over to the Cathedral of San Francisco. And I traditionally stand there and greet people who are coming for the big Mass for Life there. So did that for about an hour, really, really warmly welcomed both inside and outside. Once people were all inside for the Mass, I went over to the Civic Center Plaza, and there was the gathering of the Silent No More campaign, so I helped to get ready for that. I greeted people as they were arriving, talked to the leaders of the Walk for Life, got everything ready for the testimonies. And then we had a beautiful, as the crowd began gathering for the rally and the march, a beautiful series of testimonies, both men and women, parents and grandparents, moms and dads, testifying before this crowd to their abortion stories. This included Janet, our executive director, who gave her story as a grandmother of an aborted baby. We had that gathering. It went very, very well. And then we brought the Silent No More men and women to the front of the march where they were positioned. And then I was behind the stage with the other leaders. Archbishop of San Francisco was there, various other clergy and lay leaders, interacted with them, heard the rally speeches, then went to the front of the march together with the Archbishop, and we walked through the main streets of San Francisco, tens of thousands of pro-life people. Since we were at the front of the march, but when we got to its end point, I positioned myself at the corner together with the Silent No More men and women with their signs, and we were able to stand there and greet all the different marchers as they came forward. And we took pictures together. I encouraged and interacted with so many people, maybe some of you who are watching now. It was a beautiful experience, as it always is. Once we finished with that, we made our way back to the hotel, and then a very brief respite there before we went to the leadership dinner, where Janet was with me, Father Dennis, Brian from our team. Went to an Italian-American club there and had a pasta dinner with the leaders and organizers of the Walk for Life, and we thanked them. Janet got up and gave a few remarks about how grateful we are for the way that they welcomed the Silent No More campaign, and we concluded the day with that. And the next morning, Sunday the 25th, I had a few emails to do regarding travel plans, files from one of our canon lawyers, donor call questions, preparation for an upcoming meeting of the Council for National Policy, and various appeals and prospecting approvals. And then Janet and I went to Mass at the cathedral. We came back and then had breakfast with an old high school friend of mine who lives in the area, came by to see me. We caught up. He drove us to the airport then to catch a flight back to the East Coast. So we flew back from San Francisco to Orlando, did various work on the plane, various emails and conversation and planning work. And by the time we got back, it was the end of the day. And we concluded Sunday, the 25th of January, and concluded thereby the whole trip to the Walk for Life and the March for Life. Very successful once again. Thank you to those of you that participated in those events. We were happy to organize many, many gatherings. It was inspiring. So that's what I did from the 21st to the 25th of January, 2026. God bless you. I hope your activities are fruitful, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hi, everybody. My name is Father Rick Heilman, Father Richard Heilman, and I have been a fan of Priests for Life. Well, I am full on in pro-life ministry, all my priesthood, but it really revved up when I was put in contact with Priests for Life and the inspiration of Father Frank Pavone and everything that they're doing. I said earlier that they have really inspired everyone else to really get in the fight. And I just encourage you to be a part of Priests for Life. Please, please. They've done so much good over so many years. They continue to do great good. We are going to be a pro-life nation. I believe that with all my heart. And I believe that Priests for Life have gone a long way to get us in the place that we are finally on that doorstep of being pro-life once again.
Remember the Bible story, that sparrow that fell to the ground? Well, this is a story by Anthony DeStefano. Great story. Little sparrow broke his ring, beautifully illustrated. Look at these pictures. Look at that sparrow fall to the ground. Boink! And he needs the courage to realize he can still fly. You got to get this book. It's fantastic for children. Go to our online store, prolifeproducts.org. Order it today. The Sparrow Who Fell to the Ground.
Follow him, Father Frank Pavone, Fr. Frank Pavone. He is the National Director of Priests for Life. Please go to priestsforlife.org.
Frank Pavone. Frank, thank you very much.